Let's talk about floats. A little bit about floats. Floats always, people been know about floats. When you go to neighborhoods or you go to places, they say, old folks used to tell you, don't deal with graveyard. That's what they was talking about. Don't deal with graveyard. It always have amazed me. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but if you can remember your grandparents, you bring certain people around, they say, get that demon out my yard, get that witch out my yard, get that warlock out my yard. Don't deal with graveyard. Make you wonder how they knew this stuff. And what it was knowledge. I just automatically took it as if it was knowledge that was hidden in slavery, especially when they started rewriting the Bible and stuff. And this was forbidden teaching, and if you got caught teaching this stuff, you probably died from it. So over time, slavery was 500 years now. So over time, they probably figured out a way to tell it to each other without teaching it to each other. And they must have automatically assumed that the kids, like the modern day kid like us, would pick it up, but we didn't. And my daddy and them generation didn't either. They did and they didn't. They did to the point where they knew what it meant, but they didn't believe in it no more. But it's real. So now let's go to floats. So when you go to floats, let's say me and my flame float. Like I said, let's say it's two different floats. And let's just call one heaven and one hell. Let's just call one heaven and one hell. But these is massive floats. These floats can fit other floats on this float. It's like a semi-truck picking up another semi-truck, but far more greater and bigger. And what it is that these floats have a lot of sails on them. Okay? And then, let's say one of the captains to one of these floats is a general. There's general on each float. Well, one is of the dark and one is of the light. And one, the hell float, let's say the vast majority of the people that goes on this hell float have a sex problem. So this hell float collects more in the sex department. Yes, it collects the drugs, the dealers, all that stuff, the killers and all that. But overall, it ends up being about sex, love, and stuff like that. So this float is this captain to this float is an over sexually active individual. You just come to Earth together. You're not supposed to be together. One of y'all got two different missions, almost like you built together. Okay? And a lot of angels are together on the other side, but a lot of them are not. You come here and you find, you come here to connect back to your other half, your better, you know what I'm saying? That's like a goal for heaven, and it should be a goal for earth. But it get confusing, because if you come here with somebody and you're not supposed to be with this person, but then who you supposed to find, see, that part get a little tricky. But see, you already connected with that person over there, so you no longer have to come here and connect with this person over here. So if you got like 20,000 wives over there, it ain't like it is over here. You over here, you think about that, you think about cheating, you got a lot of wives to choose from. It's not like that over there though. It's like somehow y'all one body. You're huge. You make giants on the earth look like humans. Something like that. So, I'm trying to explain this as good as possible. When I explain this, I can explain this to a depth though, to make you look at, you could tell for a fact that bad and good is just two different extremes. So let's look at these floats. What these floats for? It's a lot of floats. It's a lot of floats. It's a lot of different floats. It's a lot of floats. It's a lot of different energy. So these floats, one thing I do know what these floats do, they make it easy for the Libra scale. But in this float, I'm just talking about these two floats, hell and heaven floats. These floats have sails. You know, on the hell float, you got these sails. I really just have to explain the hell float, so I ain't even gonna have to explain the heaven float, you're gonna pretty much get it. This hell float, we got these sails. Like I said, you got mushroom, you got the mushroom sail, you have rotten sail, added sail, I think fraudulent sail, all that, scandal sail, all that. You're a master in fraudulence. You're a master in scandals. Look at Cat. Look at Cat over there. Is he dead? Look at her. Get up. Sleeping good, ain't he? He just like, oh, that sleep good. Can't sleep good when we ain't outside because them other cats beating them up. So, so you got these hell floats. I remember hearing somebody say this a while back. I couldn't say it then because I was too much in my emotions. I could try to teach it now. Teach us about hell. That's what they were saying. Where is hell? Teach us what hell is. Well, these bodies come here. You tend to. I learned this in the street myself, actually. You keep doing something. Well, having my experiences, near-death experiences as well. You be consumed with fear, you know, but you don't tell nobody. You might be well looked up to. You might got a lot of power. You shouldn't have fear. You don't know why you got fear, but for some reason, somehow you've been consumed with fear. That's because God that came to you and told you to release your armor. God that came to you and said, kneel. God that came to you and said, fear me. When God do that, he take that from you. You finna get ready to cross over. Your golden days is here, no matter what age you is. You can't tell this to nobody because people scatter you, you know, you don't want to say that. So, back to this hell float. You got another area where one of the nicknames to the captain might be Rust or Rusty. And all you got to do is just think about this stuff. So you got Rust and Rusty. Well, Rusty, let's say you're a female. And let's say you ran out of oil, but you're still acting like you got oil. So now put two and two together. Rusty. But the problem is it's not funny because these people are still beautiful. These people still look like they got a lot of youth in them. You know, these people scare you because you should look like what your body is saying. You know what I'm saying? So if you start to notice these floats and stuff, you just start to notice stuff. So in a way, like I said, somebody was like, explain the hell. Well, we're getting there. We there. So this hell float is above us. You don't notice it. It probably pull up on you when you get a good gush of a breeze in the air. Same with the heavy float. Park beside you. Start collecting. Souls just constantly getting in. So you start seeing these people where you kill, you started killing for a living, and all of a sudden you get this seared heart where you no longer care about the killing that you're doing. You're binded, and your soul have already walked and passed over to the sail of this float. All right, now let's talk about sex. You keep sneaking around and having sex for just sneaking around. It's sex part of life. So finally, they send you this one person, male or female. They send you this one person. See, a female gonna have to study it for a male. I wouldn't know how that go with the male. I just know about the female. Finally, you sleep with this one person. You better have good intentions when you sleep with this person, because if you got bad intentions, because this particular person have been sent to you because you don't know when to sit down. You don't know how to stop sowing your royal oats. You don't know when to stop. So you just gotta notice when you done started doing something too much and you no longer got a heart about doing it. You no longer care if you do it or not. Once you start to notice that, you'll stop. But you gotta notice it first. If you never stop to notice it, you'll never stop. This is gonna be a scary lecture. I never want to tell this lecture because you're gonna sweep it down. But this is what I was working in, like the females, the girls, the new energy that kept coming. Y'all really just came too early, that's all. Because I was working. I couldn't have got this knowledge if I wasn't working. So, when you get into this float, what happened is, you're sleeping around. Like, sleeping around is better. It's a better example. So you just keep sleeping around, just they got used to it, like smoking a cigarette in the bathroom stall. You know what I'm saying? At school, it's just an adrenaline rush for you. And you kind of like the arguments that you get out of it. You like the attention from the arguments. You like the fact that they still love you and they show they love you through the arguments. You done got to the point that you're so seared-hearted that you don't even know this love unless it's an argument. See, what happened is, so God send this, or Satan send this person to you because God done told Satan, okay, enough is enough. Go ahead and send that person to him. Because see, you making your soul suffer. Your soul don't want to do that. Your body want to do it. Well, you got to learn, what people got to learn, what man got to learn is to listen to their soul and to make your flesh submit to the soul. So the soul can talk to the spirit of God. Y'all, oh, this ain't traditional. This is art. This is perfect synchronicity. This is spiritual justice. This is the ways of God, and there is no other way. You can't just sit out there and do that all day long. You can't just keep on multiplying kids. You can't just keep going from bed to bed. You can't just keep doing drugs all your life. You can't just keep doing this all your life. So, but when you meet these floats, they do this their whole life. When you meet these floats, they do this their whole life. When you meet these floats, this is what they do. And they look good doing it. No matter how sinister, no matter how dark, and no matter how low, they look good doing it. Some of them to you might look rough, but still look good doing it. Like it don't affect them. You can meet a flow. You can meet somebody that's overly sexually active, do drugs, kill you, do all this stuff, but walk around everybody like God's gift to earth. Live good. And you just can't wrap your head around it. If they get away with it, I get away with it. Not necessarily. Let's talk about these floats. So what happened is, just like me sharing a belt with my flame, it's rough. Because you got these people in your cells, and sometimes these people in your cells tend to bleed off in your thoughts. That's where you get these thoughts from that's not of you, and probably the thoughts are not of your flame. but they could be thoughts of the people that's in the sails of your float. You got to think, you locking up prisoners. You locking up rapists. You locking up child molesters. You locking up murderers. You locking up cannibals. You locking up all kinds of people. Let's go back to the float where you have sex. Because it's the same routine, the same principle with the sex is work for everything else. So you keep going back to this float. This float gonna open its doors to one of its sails to you. So the float then is gonna consume you. Once this float consumes you, before you came in contact with this float, you was good. Your health was good. Your body, your mind, everything around you was good. Everything felt good. Nothing changed. But you finally came across this one float. You finally came across this one individual that you thought was a normal individual and just didn't realize that it was a gatekeeper probably or a float. Because in this physical world, everything's so titled. Yeah, they got this, got that. That's what they are. Well, we all know that's an illusion, though. You must unplug yourself from the matrix system so you can stop losing in the illusion, though. We gotta grow. You gotta learn to sow your royal oats. You gotta learn you can only temporarily sow your royal oats. You gotta learn to love yourself, deal with yourself, build with yourself, and make sure that you keep God with yourself. You gotta learn to honor God and not other gods. You gotta burn down those altars and learn to just worship the one and true God. And if you don't, God gonna show you that there is nothing but one true God. All these massive floats work for God. And you better know, in the spiritual realm, everybody bow down to God. Your gods and everybody else. So, let's talk about these floats. So you finally get to the point where the float done already analyzed you. You done been hanging with the float for a while now. The cell doors are starting to open up to you because the float done realize you ain't trying to change. See, you got around that float and you got comfortable. You got around that float, you got around this person, this particular captain that's over this float that you didn't know that was over a float, and you got really, really comfortable. And you told that captain of that float how you really feel about life. You told that captain of that float how you really are. You showed that captain of that float how you really feel in your heart. God judges the heart. See, you hide this from your family. You hide this from your lover. You hide this from your friends, but you didn't hide it from this float because you look up to this float because everybody else scared of this float. You scared of this float. And with that being said, you look up to this float. So you really was open to this float. Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it. Do it. Do it. Party like a rock star. Not literally. I like using that word, party like a rock star. It never means what people say it is, but it sounds good. Anyway. So what happened is you finally sleep with this float. One time too many. And you don't get many times. I think it's like 2 or 3 if anything. Because you should have learned your lesson when you got to know the float the first time. You knew that float was on demon time. And you appreciated the demon time. Not only did you appreciate the demon time, you liked it the demon time. You was fueled by the demon time. You enjoyed the demon time. So this time when you came back to that float, it opened its sails to you. This will be your last time. Yeah, you gonna leave again and come back, but you gonna leave without your soul this time. Confirmation. See what I'm saying? So that's when you start having these problems. That's when you start having these issues. That's when you start having these illnesses. That's when you start having these things coming wrong with you because you kept going and you kept going and you kept going until you finally lost what you needed the most, and that was your soul. Some of these games y'all out there playing, you just don't know. Some of these games y'all playing, you just don't know if you only knew the truth. So they said that it was, I don't know if it was a Chinese, Japanese, it was another race. It wasn't white or black. They were like, well, tell us where hell is at. Well, just like jail come from heaven. I mean, the spiritual justice. The spiritual justice is pretty much of heaven. It's heaven, you know, it's earth. I mean, it's the spiritual realm, it's the universe. Well, jail, everything you see in the physical is birth. Everything we do, every single thing we do is birth from the spiritual realm. Okay, so when you go to jail, you get in trouble, you go to jail. You get in trouble, you go to jail. And you keep getting in trouble, you keep going to jail, you go to prison. Well, that same rules applies with these floats. So you gotta imagine prison. You see prison, our prison, our jail is older than younger than the pyramids. It ain't nothing. Pyramids are more advanced than our physical prisons that we use today at jails. And the body, your human body, is more advanced than the pyramids that we see out here. So your body is the advanced version of the pyramid. Pyramid is the advanced version of the prison, you might well say, but it's not used for home or anything else. But I'm just giving you an idea. Showing you how far we actually are behind. We think they didn't have phones back in them days. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think they had some way of dealing with technology. They just didn't do it the way we do it today. So, where are these hells? Hell is like jail on earth. That's why you hear, I think the Muslims say, hell is on earth. Real. Hell is like jail on earth. Okay, hell is like jail on earth. Hell is like jail and a human on earth. Now you just gotta figure out, which is easy if you really done been through the streets. I'm pretty sure prisoners that's listening to me saying, I know exactly what he's talking about. I just didn't know that's what it was. You know, it's easy when you see it in the streets. When you done been through the streets, when you done been through a lot, you can see it. Hell is basically jail, which is basically the cells of a human being on earth. And it's gonna walk this earth with us until it leave us, and then it's gonna drop you off in Hades and make you believers. By that time, it'll be too late to be a believer. So, watch this. Let's say you're a rapist, overly sexually active. And yeah, you still walking this earth or whatever, and you happen to sleep with this float, this hell float. When you sleep with this hell float, how ironic is it that you get inside, that your soul get trapped inside of somebody that's living a life like that all the time? Overly sexually active, always around killers and rapists, getting tortured all the time and act like they don't care and love it almost. I done met people like this. Love it. Or tell you too nice and leave and run from you. Really, they saying, I can feel Jesus in you. I can feel the good in you. I feel the light in you, so I'm going to run from you. What are you doing here? It's the same thing like Legion said to Jesus. What are you doing here? I know who you are. That's the same thing. It's the same thing that y'all just looking at you want to see the same word for word. You want to see everything happen just like it is in the Bible. You got to start thinking outside of the box about some of this stuff. So think about it. You was out here trapped in this overly sexually active stuff, overly doing all this and that. And then you finally come across somebody afloat that took your soul, and that soul went into a float that lived like that. That's what it is, hell. Now your vessel is running around here with the seared heart because you're basically a soulless being. Now you got to figure out how to unsear your heart if you're a soulless being. Do you know I'm going to tell y'all out there, ladies and gentlemen, one of the hardest things in the world is to heal yourself when your heart's seared. One of the hardest things in the world is to heal yourself when your heart is seared. So that's where that, whoever asked me that, where is it at? It's right here. And I can show it to you. When you see these people, you start dealing with these people, you start to feel yourself not being yourself while you're around these people. You start to not feel yourself when you're around these people, and you start to not notice your identity no more. You start to look different because you're starting to decompose because those people took something from you. That's how it worked, y'all. Those people took something from you because you finally did something one too many times. We must learn how to sow our royal oats and then leave it alone. If anything, you need to go get information from older countries and find out how long you actually supposed to sit. I used to know it, but I don't know it no more. And sow your royal oats. You only got so long, but some people just call it 33. By 33, you need to try to start cleaning up your life. They were like, that's like a gateway, a portal or something. Because of when Jesus died. And a lot of people say, yeah, 33, celebration time. Yeah, celebration for you to grow up. Become a man or a woman. So you better try to find out a real lover now. You better start loving yourself for real now. That's the birds telling me we done now. Learn to love yourself, do stuff like me. I can go to Home Depot, love myself. Give me some money, I go to Home Depot, and I buy a whole kitchen and a living room. I put it in that building behind the house, and I take a sludge hammer. I buy one of the most beautifulest, nicest sludge hammer money can buy, and you'll hear me all morning, all evening, all night long working on that house. By the time I get done with it, everybody gonna wanna be inside the house. You gotta learn to love yourself. But yeah, that's where it's at though. You actually get to go to prison. You actually go, you get wrapped up. These floats wrap up, the floats go ahead and get us ready to cross over. So never think that God ain't here. Now that I done said this, you should know now God always been here. God always been with us, always been here. And don't think for 1 second, because you're not sexually active that much, you just do it here and there. You just do it. And don't ever think for 1 second moderation is gonna get you past go. You remember watching the movies back in the days, family did things out of moderation, but then they finally got their last drugs or their last alcohol and they didn't drink it and they pushed it off in the closet. I know you do, because everybody done this, black and white. They pushed it off in the closets. And what really typically get a lot of us throwed off is that you see a lot of people dealing with these people that's important and good and healthy and great people to you. But what you didn't know is they had secrets and they bind it to that float. And if you keep going down that road, you will be too. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So far. I might have been off a little bit. Details might be off a little bit because I'm just learning this myself. But it's vitally important that instead of trying to sit back and find the observer and kill him and whack him, that we all learn to observe and free ourselves.